if we go back to the supply side model, okay, the supply side model can be illustrated with the production possibilities curve. Okay, the production possibilities curve shows our GDP, or more precisely, our potential GDP. Okay, the supply side model is based on an aggregate production function, labor, capital, etc. Technology. Okay. One thing that you need to understand is that supply side economics uses this model, or a version of this model, but other laissez-faire schools also use this model. So this model is not equivalent to supply side economics. It's a tool that supply side economics uses, at least the Reaganomics version of it. Little t is tax rates on economic behavior. Their approach is very microeconomic in orientation. The idea is people respond to economic incentives. Economic activity gets devoted to areas that have higher expected returns. Okay, so if you make something more rewarding, you get more of it. That's the argument here. Okay, so the supply-siders focused in particular on three types of economic behavior. One was labor supply, one is saving, and one is investment. Saving and investment contribute to growth in capital. Okay, and so what the supply-siders said is the primary determinant of labor supply, saving, and investment is rate of return after taxes. Expected rate of return after taxes. We don't care about our gross, we care about our net, our take-home pay, or our take-home interest rate, little t. So, what the supply-siders said was, we believe if we cut taxes, tax rates, on personal income, we will get more labor effort. People will work longer hours because the return to working is higher. More people will come into the labor force because they want to take advantage of these higher returns to labor. Similarly, if we reduce the tax rate on savings, people will save more. Similarly, if we reduce the tax rate on investment, businesses will invest more. So the idea behind the Reagan Tax Cuts, which happened in the early 1980s, the Reagan Tax Cuts reduced personal income tax rates by 25%. 5%, 10%, and 10% in 3 successive years. So this should have been a good experiment to see what would happen. Okay? There were also a bunch of changes in investment tax rules having to do with accelerated depreciation and things like that. But basically, this was a big experiment at supply side economics. Okay? So the idea was more saving will make investment more easily. More investment and more saving will cause an increase in the capital stock at a faster rate, and more labor. All of those things will shift the curve out more quickly than it otherwise would. What do we know about the results of all of these things? Well, it's been 32 years, roughly. Many studies have been done on this. Okay. The studies on saving have concluded that it doesn't work by and large. What they found is all of these IRAs were simply money taken out of savings accounts and shuffled into these tax-protected savings accounts. And so there was very little additional saving as a result. Okay. Saving seems to be largely a cultural thing. Americans don't save much. What they do save seems to be dependent largely on their income. Changes in rates of return on savings instruments simply shuffle your savings around from lower return things to higher return things, but it doesn't seem to make people save more very much. Okay, second point, this one. Okay, what they found, what the studies have found by and large, is that people don't work more hours when they get a higher salary, okay, after taxes. Think about this. Many people work, quote, full-time, which is 40 hours. Can you just tell your boss, oh, I now want to work 42 hours a week? I mean, does that work? Usually no. There are institutional constraints. So the labor supply response on primary wage earners, meaning the head of the family, financially speaking, was pretty small. Okay? What they did find is second wage earners, like the wife who takes a job, supporting the family, their labor supply did respond as predicted. Okay? So lower after-tax returns on the second income, which would be me in my family's case, did cause more work effort, but not for primary wage earners. So this was no, this was mixed. Okay. There's another thing working against it. If you take micro, Econ 303, some people have, like, for some people, more income is not always better. Okay? At some point, you're earning enough, and what becomes scarce in your life then, this is true for me, is leisure time. Okay? I don't want more income. I've got plenty of income. I mean, of course, if you want to give me a raise, that's fine. But what I don't have is free time. Okay? So what we see is that rich people often reach a point, rich people being a kind of very broad term, at some point, people are earning enough income so that when they get a raise, that may actually cause them to put in less effort so that their income stays about the same, but they're working less to achieve that same income. Okay, so there's this complication there. Okay, this one was a big yes. Okay, we've long known that taxes have the ability to either enhance or inhibit business investment. Okay, that's strongly positive. Positive in the sense that the data support that. Yes?
So decrease in tax rates decreases?
Increases investment.